Beyonce is that girl, and if you guys don't believe me, please go check out Renaissance, a film by Beyonce, and then watch this video. So Beyonce gave us a raw and vulnerable look into what it took to pull off the massive Renaissance tour. And the film was spectacular to say the least. And in this video, I'll be breaking down all the highlights of the film. So first things first, Beyonce wrote, produced, and directed this movie. And of course, on top of all of this, she was the star. So this is no easy feat, guys. Now, Beyonce has let us in behind the scenes of her life before and how she toured in the past, especially with her previous documentaries, such as Life is But a Dream that came out in 2013. But this film is a true deep dive. The first 30 minutes showcase how the Renaissance tour was put together, and Beyonce literally had her hands in every aspect of the tour. Beyonce wore many hats. She was the creative director, the choreographer, composer, videographer, light and sound technician, you name it. She always knew what was going on 100% of the time. Beyonce was invested in even the tiniest details that no one would ever think about. With this came a bunch of complications for Beyonce behind the scenes. So Beyonce provided a voiceover for the film, and she said that people talked to her and treated her differently because she is an African American woman. And the next shot of the film was a montage of Beyonce asking and basically fighting for better lighting, better stages, cameras, coordination. There was even one particular back and forth in which Beyonce asked for a smaller lens in a camera, and the camera technician, or whoever was in charge of the cameras for the tour, told Beyonce that there was no such thing as a smaller lens that Beyonce was referring to, and what they had was it. Now, Beyonce then replied and said that she researched the camera that she was talking about and that it did exist. And later on in the movie, we saw the smaller lens in action on stage with her dancers. Now, I know what you're thinking. What does a camera professional telling Beyonce that a smaller lens does not exist have anything to do with sexism and racism? Well, everything. It would be one thing if the camera Beyonce was talking about didn't exist. They would be doing their job. But it did. The camera did exist. That was a part of the montage of Beyonce fighting with everything that she asked for. Sound changes, again, mic changes, lighting, stage setup. There was even a moment in the film where we could see Beyonce almost having a nervous breakdown, and she was about to cry. And then she snapped back like it was nothing. Now, I do want to note that there was something else that I noticed during the montage, was that Beyonce literally had to fight for everything that she asked for, but there were some moments in the film where Jay-Z was sitting right next to her, and she was saying things or suggesting things and asking for things, and it seemed like she didn't have to fight as much. And I want to say this because Beyonce specifically mentioned in her past, especially in her songs, that even though she's married to Jay-Z, she is her own person. She does have her own career and her own awards and accolades that she has received, not solely based on her marriage to Beyonce, which is true. She started her career before she even had a relationship with Jay-Z. So things seemed pretty cool whenever she was next to Jay-Z, and it was a bit of a head scratcher. Yes, they are a billion-dollar power couple, and people and businesses and the powers that be do take them seriously together. But it also goes to show that even Beyonce, who is worth $500 million plus in her own right, been in the industry for 20 plus years, still has to fight for everything, including respect at her level and being treated better. Let me know in the comment section below if you guys saw this too, or if Jay-Z being right next to her in some of the clips had nothing to do with anything. Now, even though the first 30 minutes she did talk about the struggles and anxieties around putting together the massive Renaissance tour, which she said took 4 years to pull off, there were a lot of positivity and light and highlights throughout the film that triumphed all of her hardships and hard times. Beyonce truly took the time to highlight her cast and crew of the tour, and we got to know a significant amount of her dancers and what it meant for them to be on tour. Now, the whole point of the Renaissance album was to respect and honor her late Uncle Johnny, who basically helped raise Beyonce and Solange, and also designed and handcrafted all of Destiny Child's outfits that they wore at the very beginning. Now, Beyonce noticed that no stylists or major fashion houses wanted to dress for Black curvy women, and that Uncle Johnny took it upon himself to create all of the outfits with, of course, his sister Mama Tina. Now, although Uncle Johnny is no longer here, Beyonce did talk about how it was a struggle for him to be a gay black man in the 50s. And throughout all of Uncle Johnny's hardships, he shined a light on Beyonce that helped made her who she is today. So Renaissance is a huge love letter to Uncle Johnny. Beyonce even noted that she hoped that her concert could be a safe space for everyone to be themselves. And not only did she create a safe space for her audience, but for everyone that worked at the tour as well. It seemed like she really highlighted her cast and crew in every other scene, and she truly showed her support and appreciation for each and every one of them. Now, another highlight for the film was that Beyonce talked about time. So she noted that she turned 42 a few months ago and how money can buy different things, but money cannot buy time. And I love that she correlated time with her family and how she always tries to make time for her family. She said it takes her a few hours for her to come down after performing, but when she does, she focuses on her family and of course self-care, emails, everything else. Now, Beyonce highlighted that her family basically traveled with her throughout the tour, and in between stops, she actually flew her entire family out to France to just be away from it all. I also love how she noted that to the world, she is Beyonce, but to her kids, she's mom. She's picking them up, nurturing them, dropping them off at school, being happy about their broken tooth. She is just mom. And one of the narratives around Beyonce is that she is a machine, she can do it all, she's Superwoman, and all of that is probably meant to be a compliment, and honestly, it does look that way. But in this film, she showed that she is a human, something that us fans seem to forget sometimes. Next, something that I want to highlight is Beyonce's grit. So Beyonce talked about how she underwent knee surgery about a month before the start of her tour. Now, she did give us a background. In 2009, she was practicing for her tour and she was up in the air, she was on strings, and somebody in the crew accidentally dropped her and her knee actually crashed to the stage. And here we are 14 years later for another tour, and she had to undergo surgery to the same knee because of that accident. Now, the faith and the guts, the determination to have this big knee surgery 30 days before her tour is just unbelievable. And I like how she showed us a little bit behind the scenes of what it takes to be Beyonce. Now, another highlight that I wanted to point out is that Beyonce sort of took a shot at people who say she is only good at dancing. Now, she did go on to say that her voice is the highlight of who she is, and that dancing is of course important, but basically her voice makes her Beyonce, or it makes her the Beyonce that we see on stage. Now, she noted that her voice has always been who she is, and she opened up about how when she was young, around 11 or 13 years old, she was in the studio for 8+ hours and she damaged her vocal cords. And the doctors told her that she would not be able to sing or talk for the next few weeks in order to heal. And she remembered going to the theme parks and riding the rides and not being able to do what normal people do, which is of course scream on a roller coaster. And she thought that she would never be able to sing again and that her dreams wouldn't be able to come true. And of course, fast forward 30 years later, she still has her profound voice and said that it was always about her voice from the very beginning. Which brings me to my next highlight. The legendary and the iconic Dianna Ross sang happy birthday to Beyonce during her tour. Now, as a bit of a background, Beyonce did sing happy birthday to Dianna Ross a few months ago, so Dianna wanted to return the favor. That she included this in the movie because she talked about how everything that she's doing now is for the next person. And while she was on stage, Beyonce was visibly emotional, and she told Dianna Ross thank you for her sacrifice and that she would not be here without Dianna. And I love Miss Dianna Ross's humble response, which was basically, keep going, you're beautiful, I love you, I'm here to empower you. This is your day. Now, if we want to talk about a living artist who can really talk their stuff, I mean, they can say whatever they want and not get any blowback, it would be the legendary Miss Dianna Ross. But in this moment, she chose to compliment Beyonce from one queen to another. This is basically Dianna Ross saying that she's been through it, but she wanted to use the moment to love on Beyonce, and I love that. Next, I want to talk about Beyonce's anxieties around Blue Ivy performing. So Blue Ivy was only supposed to perform once, but because Blue Ivy saw all the negative commentary by critics, she decided to perform for about 15 more performances. And one thing that really stuck out to me was what Blue said. She said that after reading all the comments, she said, okay, I want to go back on stage, and I'm actually going to wake up early in the morning and actually go to the practices, learn the steps, and be around the cast and crew. And I like how Blue Ivy's perspective was in the movie, because sometimes we think, she's the daughter of Beyonce and Jay-Z, or this person is the child of a famous, well-known couple, and they don't have to work as hard. And to some extent, that is true. They do have connections that an ordinary person wouldn't have. However, I love that Beyonce showed that even her daughter had to put in work in order to be successful. At the time when the negative comments were being circulated on the internet, there was nothing that Beyonce or Jay-Z could do to take back her performance or change her performance. Not like they wanted to anyways, but Blue Ivy could do everything herself to change the narrative, and she did just that. And I think she understood that, yes, my parents are always there to love and support and protect me, but sometimes we have to be the ones that actually put in the work to better our lives. And I love that she found that out at 11 years old, because let's face it, sometimes it takes adults years to figure that out. So kudos to 11-year-old Blue Ivy. So in conclusion and overall, I really did love the movie. I love that she took us behind the scenes and let us into her world just a little bit. Sometimes we think everything is glamorous and picture perfect until we pull back the curtains and we see that Beyonce is a human being just like you and me, who faces a lot of hardships in life: sexism, racism, anxiety, surgery. And she also noted all of the beauties and the wonders of her life as well. Even though this is a Beyonce film, it was a tribute to her Uncle Johnny, and I felt it in almost every scene. And I love that she integrated Uncle Johnny into this film. One last thing that I do want to note is that I love that she gave props and flowers to her mother. Beyonce said that the industry can make people become confused with themselves to the point where people can lose themselves. And Beyonce said that she has done that several times in her career, and each and every time her mom has brought her back. And I love that she gave her mom her flowers while she's still here, and she's been doing this for years, but I love that she put it in this film, because sometimes we don't do that. Sometimes we wait until the person is gone. And Beyonce is letting the whole world know that she got her stuff from Tina, and that a good portion of who she is today is because of her mom and Uncle Johnny. So if you guys have made it to the end of this long video, thank you. I want to know what you guys think. Did you guys watch the film? Did you guys like the vulnerability of Beyonce? Let me know what your favorite performance was of the movie, because it was extremely entertaining. Also, let me know what your favorite Renaissance song is. Comment below your thoughts, like and subscribe for some more Taylor Talks. And as I always say, guys, stay safe. See ya.